Rightio. Okay, so we're gonna try another cook. Now I've got these Cole's Finest Parmentier potatoes with herb, butter, and garlic. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to baste the tray in the olive oil spray. Then I'm going to layer the potatoes on there. I'm going to get Ziggy right up to heat. And then I'm going to close the lid and indirectly heat cook these. So what I want to do is I want to spray these with the olive oil on top. And then I'm thinking as well, as everyone knows, chives is one of my favourite things to cook with. So what we'll do, we'll wait till Ziggs gets up to around about, we'll say 220, 240, and then we'll put in there. Now a lot of people say, oh, that's a bit too hot for that, but these barbecues, they are roughly about 20 degrees out, so yeah, it's pretty much like baking it. So let's rip this open and see how it looks in the tray. Okay, so I actually thought these were going to be a lot bigger than what they are. So they're quite small. If I look at the packet, they're roughly what they're saying. So what we're going to do, as I said, put some olive oil on there. Now the butter will melt down, but the thing I forgot to say at the start, these are actually frozen. So they're going to take a little bit to cook. So we'll spray that. And then we get the chives. And I'm going to put chives all over these. Now, I was going to keep these for a cook I'm going to do this weekend, but I felt a little bit peckish. And I think as well, in my last cook that I uploaded tonight, a bit of smoked paprika always makes potatoes pop. And if anyone has seen one of the previous shorts that I did, or one of the previous videos when I did potato cakes, it actually tastes absolutely wicked with this. And by seeing that there, it looks really nice. Now these little bits of green chunks, they're not moldy potatoes, it's actually garlic butter. Now by saying that, Ziggs is up to nearly 200 degrees. She heats up fairly quick. So once that hits 250, I did say about 220 before, 240, but I'll let it get up to 250. I'm gonna back off the middle burner, so now it's all full direct heat. I'm gonna back that off. We're gonna get it down to the mid burners. Oh, sorry, the outer burners. Go indirect heat. I'll monitor the heat as I'm going, and I'll cook it like that. Now the only thing I won't be showing in the video is I'll be rotating these as I'm cooking these so they don't stick to the tray. They shouldn't stick, providing the butter, the oil, and the moisture from them being frozen doesn't like stuff it up. But we'll see how we go. If anything, the only mistake it might be mushy, which I've had that happen before, but trial and error, it's all a bit of fun. So there we go, and I will flame it up, motherfucker. Alright, so I left that for about 5 minutes, and we're actually sitting at 260 degrees. So what I do here, turn the middle burner off, and then I'm going to turn the outer burners right down. Well, sorry, turn them halfway down. Now this is going to take a while, unless I let it aerate. It's going to take a bit. Now the smoke you can see off there, that's just excess oil that I had on the barbecue before, so yeah, putting a little bit of excess oil on there so the tray doesn't stick. And yeah, I'm going to open my garage door. So what do we say here? More oil on top. Let's flame it up, motherfucker! Flaming the spuds. And you'll see it's there, it's a nice little crisp on top. So what I do here is I close the lid. Now I say the gauge has cooled down because the barbecue's been open for a while, and we're just gonna let it go. And I'll show you guys how it looks about midway. Beautiful. Okay, so I had a change of plans. I just remembered something that I done in the last couple of cooks about 2 weeks ago. I've got this steel frame, and what it does is it actually raises the heat more into the lid than what it does on the plate. So what I was thinking is I'll put those spuds in the tray on top of the plate, where they're not going to get full direct heat from the burners, where it's going to actually make the potatoes stick to the tray, but it's gonna cook more heat wise, like it was in like a conventional oven. So let's see how it looks. I can't hold the phone and lift this in one hit, but I'll show you how it looks when it's all centralized. Okay, so this is the way it's going to cook down. So it's going to be still indirect heat, but it's going to get full direct heat from the lid when it closes down. So fingers crossed this does actually sit properly under the lid. And yep, as you can see, beautiful clearance. Okay, now I'll show you when they're done. Sweet. Okay, now I did say I was going to show you how to look when they come off, but we have changed a few plans in this video, so I always get to adventures in this. So we set at 110, sorry, 210, and I've rotated that. And it's going to give these a little bit more of a turn, just to give you guys a rough idea of what it looks like when you try these kind of cooks on this type of barbecue. So we're just going to keep rotating. As you can see, they're starting to get mushy. Now this is the only fear. If you rotate them too much, they're going to get mushy. But then again, they can stick to the tray, so you've got to keep that continuous rotation going so they don't stick too much. But you just got to be very careful. Right, that looks pretty good. It's not quite a failure as yet, but this is my fear with doing this kind of cook. But for all my favourite viewers, we've got a nice gap sitting there. What do we say? Let's flame it up, motherfucker! Indirect heat, turning to direct heat. Boom! Woo-hoo! Ooh, look at that. That's what I call sizzling. Yum, yum. And you can hear that now, start to sizzle. So we're going to get that a little bit more. Oh, a little bit of a fire happening there. We'll let it burn out before I close the lid. Right, that should have actually burst a bit of crunch underneath. Yep, they move a little bit more freely now. Okay. Alright, now this time I'll show you what they look like when they come off. They should be a little bit more golden brown and crunchier. Yum, yum. Okay, so we are sitting at about 205 degrees there. So we're going to cut the gas. That's the ending result. Yep, and sounds like we're a little bit of a turbo spooling up there. As you can see. Yep, got some crunchy ones, got some soft ones. Don't want them too hard because the heat from what they rest on will toughen them up a little bit. There's, yep, nice soft one right there. Be like mash. So these will go pretty well if they had some gravy. But I think these are little potato bites, little snack. But that roughly took about trial and error cook. Roughly took about 45 minutes to cook. But if you can do this on full heat, full rotation of these on this type of barbecue or on a Weber, I'd probably say about a half an hour to 45 minutes. Around about the 200 steady heat, full heat, elevated. But that's how it looks. Anyway. Thanks for watching, thanks for viewing. Please like and subscribe. Peace.